up because what we want to call this is a business orientation meeting. Obviously, everybody that's on this call uh, is a rep currently. And so that's what this is really to introduce you to really what's going on instead of so you don't feel like you're drinking from a fire hydrant. We want you to kind of be able to feel like you can absorb the information and knowledge and be able to ask questions, whether it's tonight or even in the future. So that being said, is we're going to start off with basically you've made the decision to enroll as a representative. Actually, you've made the decision to enroll into a business environment. Just similar to you go to let's say a theme park, and I'll pick on Disney World. You pay an entry fee or entry pass to get into that. And with that entry pass, um, it just allows you in the gate. It doesn't allow you to go to any rides, or just allows you to kind of walk around and get comfortable, that kind of thing. Sorry, guys, I've got I got some food stuck in my throat, so I'm a little bit talking funny. But when you go inside the park, you have an idea of what you want to do, but you haven't streamlined it for various reasons. Maybe it's lack of, knowledge. Don't have enough money to buy the big packages, so you're just doing what you can get by with. So tonight, I just want to talk to you about as people enter into their business, they're going to enter in and do the same thing. Remember, we can enter in as a member. We can enter in as a rep at 15%, 20%, or even 30%. So the packs that you invest in, the level of income that you make from your business from a percentage standpoint. Anthony, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you talk briefly
Okay. About just getting started?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. All right, everybody. Hoping everybody's having a blessed day today. And if you're watching it, if you're here live with us, awesome. And if you catching a recording, awesome. Me and Mr. Dave talked, and we wanted to put something together that can really, really help people out. Get started on the right track of what to do when you get started, what apps maybe to download, where to plug into, so you can get the Zoom recordings or Zoom information or just information about the business and just different things of that nature. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of just talk to you about those different type of things tonight. And we do have the floor open where if you got questions, we can ask. But the question always comes up, what do you do when you get started? And one of the first things I love to do for everybody is when they get started on my team, I know Mr. Dave does the same thing, is we love to plug people into our community on Facebook. And the reason why is because you'll notice in this business, the teams that have a community of somewhere positive to go to will have a lot of success down the line. And that's why, sometimes you have the smaller group ones, and then we'll have the big ones like ARIIX Nation, MOA Challenge, different things like that. Why? Because you can go in there and feel free to ask any kind of questions or concerns that you may have. And I encourage you to use that to your advantage. If you can't reach Dave, if you can't reach myself, if you can't reach your upline, maybe somebody cross line, sideline, downline, upline can help you answer the question that you need. And so I highly encourage you, if you haven't got plugged into ARIIX Nation or MOA Challenge, or Mr. Dave may have some as well that he uses. Like I have ARIIX Social Influencers, where it's pretty much for people that are thinking about the business but haven't joined just yet, or people that have joined the business and it's a nice little getting started little point there. But then also I have one for customers, people that are just coming in as customers and they need a community of people to help support them on their, maybe their weight loss journey, or maybe, they just want to get their health back and they want to kind of read up on different things. And I believe that those two areas is a great starting point.
So, Anthony, with you bringing that up, so what if you're a person that really hasn't engaged much in Facebook in the past or social media? How would you get someone to engage or start playing with that?
I would, most of the time, I've had a couple people who don't really know how to use Facebook and everything of that nature. I am the type person, I will go and find little videos on YouTube that would teach them the basics. Teach them, and I also don't mind getting on the phone with them, or sitting down with them and just kind of showing them how to get to maybe ARIIX Nation, showing them how to make a post, where if they had a question or concern, and of course some everybody's not gonna know how to use it. For a long time I didn't really use Facebook that much, and it took me a while. It took me a little time to figure out everything and all the niches and everything that they had, but it's a lot of great videos out there, and that I will also put together for everybody, and I'll make sure that we get that emailed out, text out to you, so you can teach maybe somebody who doesn't use Facebook how they can take advantage of Facebook. And because you're gonna have concerns come up, you're gonna have worries come up. Well, I'm not into Facebook, like Mr. Day kind of say, most of the time if they're not on Facebook, is either they don't know how to use it or they just afraid of it. And
or they may think it's a gossip center.
I may think of a guy. That was my reason for staying away. People ask me why I didn't use social media. Well, I just got tired of all the negativity and the gossip. It was just like, and this is always a tip. I always love dropping it off to everybody. Facebook isn't your place to tell everybody who your politics. Don't talk about politics and religion on Facebook. I'm sorry, or on social media in general. The only reason why is because what do those things do? Everybody has their own opinion. So what does that do? All it does is bring division to people. And it may not even be you. It may be your friends that's in the business, and then your friends that's not in the business, and they get on your post and just go at it about no reason. And then next thing you know, you just got a big post feed of negativity, and you don't want that.
So talking about that in general, how do you find the post on Facebook gets the most engagement? In other words, is it about a product? Is it about a story? Is it about an event? What do you see that allows people to take it more at value than just a gossip or something out there?
I would say bringing value. When you bring value to people, whether it be an uplifting post or a transformation that gives people a vision of what they can accomplish for themselves, those two things would probably be the top two things I see that bring a lot of interactions, or something funny. People love funny things. So if you find something funny, you could definitely share it, as long as it's kind of appropriate. But people are always looking for something that's kind of funny, and there's tons of things on there. I tell people, make your page kind of attractive. You wouldn't want to go to your friend's page and all they post is about their product, and then they make one post about their life. No, make it about your life. Encouraging family pictures, vacation, maybe a dream trip you want to go to, and then kind of throw in for every post for every I always do every 3 to 4 posts, and then I post something about ARIIX or a product or an opportunity. So before that, it's always something else. I got to give people something else where it looks like I'm bringing value to them, and that would be the key
That's
aspect.
great. Awesome. Have you ever, anybody out here that's on here tonight, I'm sure you've walked by a piece of paper on a board somewhere and you see all these little slots with a phone number on it, and they posted something for sale and nobody ever takes anything off. And then you walk by one and half of them are gone. So that's kind of like Facebook. You've got to figure out, why did half of those disappear on that piece of paper? Because it was something that was appealing to more of the masses. If it doesn't appeal to people, whether it's Facebook or they're tearing off the number, they're not going to remember it or want it for value. If they see it as, I better take that number down because I might be able to use that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why do you use Facebook over, say, something like LinkedIn?
It's a great question. LinkedIn regulates an entirely different platform.
It does what?
It regulates how you use it in the platform. It doesn't allow the conversations. It's more promoting something. We're not saying you can't use LinkedIn. A lot of people, it's on here. I use it, you use it. A lot of people use LinkedIn. We build more of a community through Facebook because it's more relationship based. LinkedIn's more of a professional network base. Does that make sense, Larry?
Yeah, I guess. I'll have to go back on Facebook. I just got sick of all the BS that was, people were throwing out there. But I'll go on there as long as I know who's going to be in the, you and Anthony.
That's where you protect it a little bit.
And I can show you how to. I can show you kind of how to hide some posts. Maybe I clean mine up all the time, and this is something I clean mine up still to this day, Larry. Because I grew up, and at first when I growing up, I just added everybody I knew. I'm gonna be honest, anybody I kind of knew from sports, went to school with, but every single day, Facebook lets me know who birthday it is. It sends an email out to you, lets you know where it is, 5 birthdays, 10, 15 birthdays. So one of my tips I give everybody, you can use this tip for yourself as well. The way to start a conversation up, instead of just posting on somebody's wall and telling them happy birthday, send a private message and say, hey, Larry, I just wanted to take the time to tell you happy birthday. I hope you have a great and blessed day. And most of the time, the person is going to read it and they're going to say thank you. And I'll be like, well, hey, how's everything been going for you, Larry? And I start a conversation. But also what I do is, before I even send a happy birthday, I go and click on their page. One, I want to make sure that it's just not a old page that they deactivated and don't use anymore. 2, I just want to make sure that they're a positive person. I mean, pretty much once a week, I probably unfriend 10 people based off of that, because I go through and I'm going through every person every single day looking at it, and I'm like, oh, no, I don't, they haven't posted nothing positive in forever. All is always just negative. Oh, like unfriend. And so that's how you can clean it up, Larry. And that's one way you can clean it up.
I got to go through there and do another page, and because I was kind of getting tired of all the negativity.
Yeah, and I think the best thing too, Larry, is we have a page called ARIIX Nation. And ARIIX Nation, what's the hardest thing for a lot of people to understand is the only people that's invited on that page are people that are representatives. So it's always funny to watch the new people. They get on and they're trying to sponsor everybody that's on ARIIX Nation. They're sending out Facebooks of, here's, hey, join me and all these kind of things. We're already in. It's You know, it's kind of
Yes.
like going to church and trying to convince everybody to be a Christian. They're already there.
It's a
Go
great.
outside the parking lot and find somebody that's not in. So it's something.
And
Sorry,
so
something. Same thing as like Facebook is. If you go out into the public side of Facebook, which I never go, because that's like dropping off into the caves of the of I don't know, just ugliness. So I stay away from that, and I stay engaged to everything, the communities that are built. There's little communities around RX Nation of different sites that you're going to find something uplifting, something positive, a quote of the day, coaches calls, things that's going to help develop you as a person. And that's what our Facebook, that's why we use it, is because one, it's free. Two, it's accessible to anybody at every age. And quite honestly, a lot of 25 and 20-year-olds don't want to be on Facebook. But, you know, and that's okay. But that's like saying your door is locked to the front door of your store. If you're a business person, you have to think in a business mindset the way we have adapted our business, because what we're doing is trying to monetize. And that's a key word. Monetize social media. If you don't know how to monetize, you can't make money off of it. And when people say, well, why do you use Facebook? Because we're learning how to network and integrate LinkedIn, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, all of those. We get them, and we use Facebook as the core of the wheel, and we got all these around, and we can connect in. It's all free, but we learn how to monetize and either find a rep, get products out, educate and inform, and that allows people to start something at a very low income and start developing a large network of people, but a potential large income as well.
Okay.
Anybody else have a question? Okay. So Facebook and those kinds of things, it's really important. Anthony, why don't you go ahead and speak to which one, you know, enrolling in RX Nation, and then of course our group is Empowered Generations Worldwide is an additional one. There's a lot of them out there, and you don't have to from day one enroll in all of them. But my encouragement is start eating. In other words, when you go to the buffet, you don't take, well, some of you might take everything on the buffet, but generally speaking, you don't heap your plate up, but you might take a spoonful or whatever, or just a few things. Well, it's the same thing in this business. When you go to the grocery store, you'll walk down most every aisle, but you don't buy everything on every aisle. So, or you don't buy, sometimes you walk down the aisle and go, why did I walk down this? Well, you're programmed to. Okay, so you're programmed also to want to be the best you can be. So what you want to do is learn the most, and so that you put your face in front of that fire hydrant. We're not offering you the fire hydrant. We're saying, hey, just to sample. It's okay just to engage. How do I do this? How do I do that? Which sites should I go to? You know, and those kind of things. And whether it's Anthony or myself or anybody that's on this call, you've got to learn which of those sites you go to get your food for the day or your rhythm of the day for your business. So, Anthony, why don't you talk a little bit about and those kind of things?
What was that again, Mr. Dave? It broke out.
The value of research MOA, or
okay.
coaches calls, those specialty sites that they can also go
Okay. Okay. Um, the value of those would be if you want to grow a successful and long-term business. One, I learned this from people like Mr. Dave and other great leaders that are mentors and friends of mine, was you gotta develop the mind. Your business will only go as far as you are willing to build your mind. You can't you can't keep asking that you want to be a six-figure income or a multi-millionaire with pretty much a basic mindset, because it takes a different type mindset to get there. Now, of course, the action is there, but I promise you, the only reason I was able to develop is because I learned to cut the radio off, cut the TV off. And to be honest, I started picking up books. I got a book right here. I picked up books. I started reading many books, something that was, something that helped me learn how to invite, something that I learned to help me with my mindset. And so that's what these communities allow you to do. That's what Research MOA allows you to do. Research MOA is a great site just to educate your mind on what we have. Because I'm not saying you have to become an expert at this. No. You don't have to become an expert at every product. You don't have to know every ingredient on the back of the product. No, you don't have to. But at least you'll know where you can point somebody to. If Claudia asked me something about Slenderize, no, I don't know everything about it. But guess what? I have flyers in my phone that I can text to her. I have Research MOA. I also know how to send her a direct link from my ARIIX Connect app that she can go and read up on it herself. But also, if she wanted me to actually find it, I'd be like, Claudia could be sitting right next to me. I'd be like, oh, okay, well, let me look for you. Pull it up on my phone and start breaking it and walk her through it right then and showing her that you don't have to be an expert. Because that scares people away.
Absolutely.
Feeling that they have to do it all. Short and sweet is to the point, and also learning to use the tools to help you out. And that's what Research MOA is, another tool. The coaches calls, that's the way to help build your mindset. I believe everybody should be everybody should be at least spending 30 minutes a day, at least, reading some kind of book. I always tell people just go read 10 pages a day of some book. 10 pages, that's it. If you read 10 pages a day in a month, you'll read almost a whole book. You read 30 minutes instead of cutting the radio on all the time. Maybe listen to some Jim Rohn. I've listened to Jim Rohn, the Magic of Part-Time, that network marketing clip. I've listened to that hundreds of times. I'm probably close to 1,000 times now, y'all, over the last 9 years. When I get on the road, that's what I'm listening to. I can try to turn the radio on, and it just doesn't work. And so it works for a little bit, and then I'll be like, I need to be productive. And so, but that would be the tools and the mindset.
Lisa, you had a question. You raised your hand. We got to unmute you.
There you go.
Okay, I did. Anthony, I'd like to know what books you're reading.
Well, this one is it's by Jim Lufkin. It's called Never Run Out of People to Talk to. I'm also reading, I heard one of my mentors say it like this. He said, read 5 books in one area and you will become an expert. 95% of the people won't even do that. So why not? Because if you want to be in the other 5%, the Brent Palmers, the Aaron Deckers, the Tammy Mopleys, the Crystal Vances, all of them, if you want to get there, you got to find something. So if you're not good at inviting, well, find 5 books on how to invite. For this one, it's just me. Want to learn how to never run out of people to talk to. How I always keep somebody in the funnel right now. It's like
Okay,
how I always have.
Jim who?
Jim Lupkin.
Spell it for me, please.
Lupkin.
Okay, Lumpkin.
And Lisa, with that book, you can go in and eventually take a test, and there's a certification that Jim gives you so that you can actually learn how to monetize from what you've learned and how to connect with people. So Jim walks you through that entire process. Really outstanding, outstanding book.
And then this is a couple other ones that since they're right here by me.
Yep.
This one is a daily one. This is something a little daily page. It's like 2 pages, and you'll see me posted like on my Facebook in the story because I'm what? Bringing value to my friends.
Is that
People,
Maxwell?
yes, John C. Maxwell, yes.
And what,
Power of
laws of
attitude.
attraction?
The power of attitude. Uh-huh.
Power of
So,
attitude.
and then I got this one off. This one is Ray Higdon. I haven't started this one yet, but it's the Go for No edition for network marketing. The reason why, like I said, I want to become an expert in network marketing. How do you do that? Or how do I set myself different from the field? I have to read 5 books of network marketing. And I look back at my life, and I have only, since I've been in network marketing, I've only done 1 book, and that was GoPro. So I need to find 5 more books, 4 more books, and read them. And then also, I just wanted to become better at it. Like, how do I become better? You know, and so that was my thing. How can I become better? And also, I got another book. It's about sales. I don't know exactly where it's at, but it's about sales. But it's not because we're not all the way on that sales part, because we do more of the sharing part of it. But if you understand sales, you can use that here. They got a lot of great tactics we can implement with what they got going on, how to pretty much do a precise follow-up, how to always, every time you come in to share with somebody, you don't always have the same content to share. That was something I just learned out of a sales book. I was like, oh, wow, that's great. But I'm always feeding my mind. And that's why I say I listen to the different podcasts, different Zooms. I hop on every Zoom. I still encourage everybody to do it. If you got free time and you're not busy, hop on the Zoom. People's like, well, I don't have time for that. Well, hey, that's up to you. It depends on how bad you really want. You know, it's a saying Eric Thomas always said, and it's always stuck with me. He said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be
Everybody's
successful.
frozen. I wonder if it's our internet.
Am I froze? Oh,
No, you're not frozen. She is.
okay. I think Lisa froze on us. But yes, and when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And so that was something that's always stuck with me. And you got to be willing to do what most people won't do in order to have success. And I was willing to, I go back to my story. I was willing at 21 years of age, I'm in college, all the parties going on, instead of going to the parties, I went to the experience parties. Instead of going to every birthday party, I listened to books. I got on the road to go help out a friend that was getting started or wanted to know more information. See, I was willing to do what most people wouldn't do. That was the things that get overlooked here. You got to be willing to sacrifice in some sort. You got to be willing to sacrifice. Brent tells us all the time, you know, something that he always said that stuck with me. We got to learn that we got to be able to lie, cheat, and steal in this business. You got to be able to lie in bed, lie on the couch, and you got to be able to lie there and just dream of your dream. What do you want to do? Where do you want to take your kids, your grandkids? What kind of legacy do you want to leave? What kind of business do you want to build? And then you got to be able to cheat. You got to be able to cheat pockets of time out of your day. Instead of watching all your soap opera shows, all your favorite TV shows, instead of watching the news that's always negative and all of this kind of stuff, you got to be able to cheat time out your day and start working on your business. It should be no day that you shouldn't work on your business of some kind. Point blank, period. People are like, well, I need a day of rest. No, you don't. Not if you truly want it. And people are like, well, everybody needs a day of rest. You know, it was always 6 days of rest. And, you know, well, guess what? God created the world in 6 days. You didn't create the world in 6 days, so you don't need to rest. You got to find time. You got to make time in your busy schedule. Everybody says their schedule is busy until they start making a little money here, and then it ain't so busy anymore. Because that's how it was for me. Oh, I'm busy. But when I got that first check, I was like, oh, well, I can make a little bit more time for this. And then you gotta be able to steal. And what do I mean by steal? Well, you got to be able to steal great ideas from Mr. Dave, from myself, from Brent Palmer. The things I'm saying, like you just heard me say, lie, cheat, steal. I got that from Brent Palmer. And guess where he got it from? He got it from Gary Racer. See, we just borrow ideas from other people. We just learn how to steal the ideas from other people, use it, give them credit for it one time, and then after that, you use it. It's all right. You just reuse the things that you learn. And so that's something I can definitely I can say about that, Mr. Baker.
So that's where we've talked about once you make a decision for the business, now you get in and it's what level do you want to go to the business? You know, Anthony spoke extremely well about development of yourself. Okay. Too many people in my mind you want to be an expert and you feel like you have to prepare yourself in a specific area. So we got experts of products. We got experts of personal development. We got experts of opportunity. We got experts. The problem is you don't need to be an expert. You just need to have some information or know where to go to get it so you can push people to it. See, here's what I learned years ago in this industry. If you want to be the man or woman, okay, no one's going to join you. Okay? Because if they think you're doing something they can't do, then they're not going to follow or they're not going to duplicate you. This is a business about helping someone else be as efficient and as effective as they can be, but help them. So everybody think of this. Imagine you got stairs coming down. Okay, here's what I can tell you. Multi-level marketing, people start up at the top and they start sponsoring. And do they go sponsor somebody equal or better than mindset or income or them? No, they go to a person equal or lower. Why? Because it's easier. That's how we are. That's the human nature. So somebody below. Now what happens after 4 months of people doing that, the difference between this person and this person is like going into the basement. You literally stepped your business into the basement of people that are zeros or threes or fours. And the reason I say that is because we're always taught in all jobs to be what you can be or more. So take your business to upstairs, not downstairs. Learn to surround yourself with people that want bigger and better. People who want more. People like coaches of Little League team, coaches period of wherever. Because when you start surrounding yourself with people going up, John Maxwell taught me this years ago, you can never grow yourself more than 2 levels. So if you're a 5 or 6 and you can spend 10,000 hours of being the best you can be, the most you're going to take yourself to is a 7. Because you're not balanced enough in your life. It's when you see these people like a John Maxwell. John's got more than leadership skills. He's got communication skills. He's balanced in all areas. So he's a 7 through all the areas of his life. See, most bullies are really good at one thing. Only one. Okay? They're not a bully anywhere else. In fact, if anything, they're lacking confidence. So that's why they stay in that area. People want to be around people who have not multiple personalities, personal traits. In other words, we talk about people that are different behaviors. And it's important you understand that those behaviors is what's going to help you grow your business. So understand you've got to decide in the first 30 days how to grow your business. How to grow your business to a level of productivity, overcoming rejection, and it's not from people. You got to overcome that yourself. And it's important you understand you're not unique. This is something everybody, I've went through it. Ants went through it. Everybody on this call, if you haven't, you are. It's just something that happens. It's how quick you react and move on is what makes you special. See, if Gerald had told Ant no the first day, Ant's going to do it with or without. So as much as he loves Gerald, if it didn't happen, it didn't happen. So what happens is his dream was more important than that day of getting a yes from Gerald. Then eventually what happens is family and friends see the changes. They see the transformation. Anthony, talk to me a little bit about transformation, not from a weight loss. Claudia's lost a tremendous amount here on the deal. But how does this business help transform relationships of husband and wives, of families? What have you seen as you've helped develop long-term reps?
I've watched this business transform people's lives in ways that almost seem like a fairy tale in some cases, because one of the the number one argument in just America alone, and I'm probably sure it's probably all over the world, but the number one issue and biggest arguments that happen in households and that cause divorces and all of that is financial. It's a fact. You can go Google it. What's the number one reason they cause divorces and all of this and breakups? It's gonna be financial. Well, what would the extra $500 or $1,000 do for most American households? It would pay bills. It'd be like another job coming in. And so once you start helping your friends, even me, when I was 21 years old, that extra $500 that I was making, when it went to 500, in between 500,000, that was wonderful. I didn't have to work the second job. I took a lot of the stress off of myself at 21 years of age. People say, what you got to stress about? Hey, you go work. Most people work 2 jobs. It's very stressful. You got one boss telling you to do this and one boss that's telling you to do this. And so that's what I watched it do. I watch a lot of people. I watched this transform people. And then also, when you start feeding your mind, you start being more positive. And when you start being more positive, that's who else you're being positive to. Your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your kids, your grandparents, your brothers, your sisters. You start feeding off this positive energy. And once you start putting the positive energy into the atmosphere, you start receiving it back of some kind. And then next thing you know, you start building something in your own home, not only just in the business, but you're building it in your own home. And it's a remarkable thing. I watched so many people. I watched this business transform so many lives on a mental standpoint, financial standpoint, and also, on the physical standpoint with the, with the transformations as well.
Perfect. Well, these next 15 minutes here, we want to finish up on time. Let's talk about, we got people getting them orientated into using social media. We got them mentally getting prepared now to recognize their whole business is going to take a different level because they're feeding their brain rather than their body. And so it's new information, it's new things that you want to take on and you want to understand. Let's talk about the game plan.
Okay.
The game plan, the very first thing that we always recommend is your list of names. Okay? Your business's value. In other words, if you're wanting money, okay, if you want $200, $300 a month, you got a small list. You probably got a list of 10 to 25 people. If you got a business in your mind that's a multi-million-dollar business, you realize that the yellow pages are your friend. In other words, it's names. It doesn't mean this is not a business about who you know. It's a business about who you know that they know. Too many times you're trying to get people in the business that you know. Well, they all know 8 to 10, 50, 100 people. So take the pressure off yourself. Find out who they know. Help them develop a list. If they don't want a business, guess what? They just give you a big referral list that you can talk. Hey, I got this buddy of mine. His name is Dave. And he told me you were an overachiever and somebody who was always looking for something bigger and better. And he gave me your name. And I don't know, can we talk and just have a conversation about that? Yeah.
Hurry right to your door, designed for your day, so you can work out. Point
in. So the list of names is a critical factor because your list is going to tell you how much you believe in yourself. Your list is going to tell you how much you believe in the potential of your business. That's why jokingly I state that if you got the Denver or Dallas phone directory, it's 2 to 3 inches thick. Are you going to sit there and smile and dial? No. Can you? Yes. Will you? No. Okay, well then your dream may not be big enough. Everybody that you know outside of family, how did you get to know them? Hi, my name's Dave. Hi, my name's Claudia. Hi, my name's Lisa. Hi, my name's Gerald. Hey, what's going on? How's your day going? We used to joke and say, man, if they grunt back and they don't say, hey, good, how's yours? If they grunt back, go, hey, they probably eat a lot of prune cookies. They're just not a happy person. Okay? Remember, give people Oreo cookies, chocolate chip. I always tie success to food for some reason. I guess that's why I'm so well-rounded. But guys, it's important you understand going to the top 10 list is immediately the fastest thing you can do. Anthony, why don't you talk about from that development of that list, how you get to first base?
First base is everybody always asks, well, how do I approach it to them? Well, it's lots of ways. It's no direct way, but a couple of ways I do is I'm a big person on relationships. I don't want to feel like I don't like to be sold to. Most people don't like to be sold to. So just like you don't run up to somebody and say, hey, Mr. Dave, I got this water bottle you need to buy. No, it's not going to work. I got to see how Mr. Dave is doing. And Mr. Dave may pick up a personal water bottle. I wish there was one around here. I'd be like, Mr. Dave, you need to grab yourself a filtered water bottle. And, hey, you can filter out that water even better than what it is right there. And see, now I just brought a conversation about. But one of my big things on grabbing people's attention is just like I said with the birthdays, reaching out to people that way. But then also asking them about their life and where they're at in their life. And then, just kind of asking them, hey, have you ever heard of ARIIX? Have you ever heard about ARIIX? And a lot of people, majority of the people are going to say, no, I never have. What is it? Man, I would love to share it with you. Hey, I would definitely love to share it. It may or may not be for you, but I definitely love to share it with you. That was one thing that helped me out. But then another way I grab people's attention just to get them first base, because first base is kind of grabbing their interest. You don't even have to ask them about ARIIX. You could just say, hey, I think Mr. Dave, Claudia, I think I got something for you. It may or may not be for you, but I just want you to take a look at it. Just like my big brother on here, and I see my friend, my other good friend that's like a big brother, my boy Tony on here. Same way. I didn't approach everybody like that, where I just came out and say, hey, you need to join the business, check it out. No, I kind of dripped on everybody and just kind of let people watch me on Facebook. I brought value to people. Where then now they're like, hey, I see you traveling all the time. I see you you got this big smile on your face. What are you doing? Well, hey, I can definitely share it with you. But then don't be like a big salesperson and feel like you got to get the sale. You don't have to. My big brother, it took years for him to join me. Like Mr. Dave said, I had a vision, but I just got him to first base. You just got to get him. How you get him to first base? Hey, I see you working out. Are you taking any supplements? Hey, what kind of workouts are you doing? I got some friends that added some of these supplements, and you know it's helped them out a lot. Me and a couple of friends, and maybe it may or may not be for you, but hey, and the reason I say it may or may not be for them is you letting them know you're giving them a way out. So now you already kind of gave them a way out. If they wanted out, they would have bagged out. Trust me, but you just kind of grab their attention that way. Another thing I do. How else do I grab people?
Let's go to the next thing, and is how do you transition then to second base, since the play is really based upon
the base
diamond.
Okay. Second base. After they say no, I've never heard of it. Hey, if I sent you a couple of short videos, would you take the time to check them out? If I
now, where do you go to get those videos?
We have the ARIIX Share app, which is an app on our phones. They're also on YouTube. I highly recommend you go find them on YouTube, like them, maybe even start yourself a little playlist. And once you start yourself a little playlist, you'll have all your ARIIX, everything's right there. Also, they're in ARIIX Nation. Also, they're in all. If you kind of got a potential prospect, you want to kind of add them, everybody's welcome to ARIIX Social Influencers. It's a group. It's reps in there, but it's also for people that maybe are interested in the business but haven't joined the business. Just ask them, say, hey, if I invited you to a little group where you can learn a little bit more about the business side of everything and some of the products as well, would you be open to join? If I did this, would you do this? And then also, same thing with the products. I got a product group. If they want to come in there and just learn about the products, but we got the videos there. So it's different ways that you can get the videos. The best way is just to go download the ARIIX Share app. Well, let me take that back. Until it gets up and running, I highly recommend let's use YouTube. Or you go to the Facebook page and just show your friend right there. Or if you can add them to the group as well.
So is this a good place to inject why you're doing the business?
I always let them check out the video first. And then after they check out both videos, then I ask them what interested you the most.
So okay, for clarity there. So you've got them now, you've piqued their interest through a conversation. Now you've got them to commit, they're going to watch the videos. Okay. So really with that, the hopes is that they're positioning themselves on second base. Okay?
Yes.
So then being on second base, we know there's another time frame to get him to third base.
Yes.
So based upon that, what you share your story, what you find out more about them, where you go from there.
So on second base, after they checked out the videos, most of the time I schedule a call. I try to schedule a call or a 2-on-1 Zoom, 2-on-1 call or 2-on-1 Zoom. Hey, find you somebody to run with, whether it be your sister, your brother, your upline, your downline, it doesn't matter.
You mean you're wanting help?
Yes.
Oh, you mean you don't have to do this yourself?
Oh no, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. All you have to do is be willing to ask.
So no one's going to think bad of me if I call and ask for help?
No.
Okay. Just want to make sure people understand. I mean, we're We're waiting by the phone, folks. We're waiting on the phone to ring. We just
Yep.
need people like you guys to realize there are a lot of you that have the same thoughts going around in your head. Like, I need to do this because if I don't do this myself, then they're going to think less of me. We've all been where you're at. The only way you move on is by hanging your rope or your hook onto somebody and let them drag you with them. Just make sure where you lay that hook or that rope, you're tied to the right person,
Yes.
that it's not
Yes.
an anchor.
You just surround yourself, and you'll notice. You'll find people out there. Find you somebody. Just find somebody. And I tell people, not just somebody. Find lots of people that can help you out. And the reason why is the more sources you have, the more help you can get whenever needed. You can also, oh, I got a coach. Well, okay, I can call Brent Palmer. How did I get with Brent Palmer? You want to know how I did that? Because I put myself right. If you're upline or you want people's attention, you got to show up. You got to show up. You got to be there. You got to be in their face where they, no matter what, they see you and they, oh, he's everywhere. I'm hearing people from ARIIX saying, you're on every Zoom. Yeah, you're going to know me before anything. Hey, I may not be up there yet making the pay just yet physically, but mentally, I'm getting there. And that's the type of attitude you got to have. So you got to be willing to network. Grab everybody's number that you possibly can. Mr. Dave, can I have your number? Claudia, can I have your number? Brent, do you mind if we exchange numbers? Aaron Decker, can I have your phone number? Debbie from Canada, do you mind if I reached out to somebody today because I had a friend in Australia where I had to realize that nobody here in coming over from Limu knew how to build in Australia yet. So guess what I had to do? Find people that knew how to do that. Well, what you got to do, you got to open your mouth up. The same way the kids, your kids, grandkids, or your kids did one day, they always would ask. The same way you got to do. You got to be willing to step outside your comfort zone. I'm watching.
Let me add something to that, is because here's something that hopefully will resonate with all of you. I wasn't a track star. You can look at this framework and see I was not a track star. Okay. So if I met a track star or another track person, I can't speak his language. I have no relatability. But I can say, because I know his story and I know of him and I got his phone number, hey, Ann, you know, I got this guy that I'm working with. That's a track guy. Can we do a Zoom together? Because he's going to relate to Ann, because he can't relate to me. I was a football dude or a baseball dude. Okay. So I don't know what passing the baton from a actuality is, but I know what passing the baton from a leadership is and how to leverage that. And leveraging that means I use professions of other people. I don't have to have the knowledge. I go, man, I can hook you up with a dentist. I can hook you up with a chiropractor. I can hook you up with a football coach. I can hook you up with a chef. I can hook, in other words, when you know all those professions and you're meeting somebody, that is the story and the conversation you should immediately go to. That's your full house. If you're playing cards, that's your full house, because it's going to lead you to 4 aces.
And it's so powerful, Mr. Dave. It's so powerful and that's why I hop on the Zooms, just so I can hear other stories. Because I promise you, the more Zooms you hop on, or maybe even catch the recording, as you're listening to it, you start thinking about people. You know what? I do know a teacher that working a side job after school. I do know a coach. I do know a chiropractor. I do know a dentist. You start thinking about more people and your mind begins to expand. And
it triggers that list of names. And now you have something relatability. So let's talk about how do you, okay, to finish up here our call, let's talk about they rounded second, they've got to third. You know what interested them the most. So how do you really how do you really close it? How do you really get them to join your team?
Well, one is something I messed up with. Yeah, you guys, I messed up. It's on recording here. I messed up. I messed up for years on this. And you want to know what it was? I never even invited them to do this with me. Nobody's ever going to join you. You could do the best presentation in the world. You could do the best three-way call, have the best Zoom, best experience party, best one-on-one, two-on-one. You can have all that. But if you never invite a person to join you, they never will. So that was first things first. Hey, Dave, it's exciting, right? Yes. Hey, come do this with me. Let's do this together. You ready? Have some excitement. Don't call them after you just had a flat tire. Wait, if you're down, you had a horrible day at work or whatever. Hey, turn your favorite music on, your favorite song, start dancing a little bit, whatever it is. Get excited, and then call them and say, "Hey, Claudia, I know you just heard everything. I know you was on that Zoom. I know you was at the party. Are you ready to do this with me? I can't wait to do this with you." And then shut up. First one, you got to shut up. Don't keep talking. Don't try to tell them another story. Don't try to tell them another experience. Nothing. You gotta ask them, are they ready? And then let them talk. Let them get their objections out. If it's an objection they have, well, yeah, I'm ready, but I would like to know a little bit more about the product, this product, or I would like to know a little bit more of how can I start generating income, or whatever their objection is. You got to kind of be, you know what? And then even after that, everybody's not going to be ready when you are. Everybody may not be ready right then. Timing is different for everybody. But get this though, one of the things you have to always do is you have to get good at following up. So yeah, they're stuck on third base because that's where they're at. But they may end up, the play may have gotten reviewed and they may have to go back to second base. They're not just ready to come on home. So guess what you got to do? You got to invite them to another Zoom. You got to invite them to another party. This is what I learned in the sales book, you guys. You got to bring different type of information to them. You got to bring something new. Well, hey, yeah, I know that I know you ready you want to do the business, and I know you were also looking to lose some weight. So I found these products that is in our house of brands. I love to share them with you. You just brought different information. You brought more value to them the next time. Then the next time, maybe you coming back to them, you're like, yeah, I just met a lady in Alabama on a Zoom, and her name was Kim Gray, and she's lost tremendous amount of weight. I just met Mr. Dave, and he was talking about how this industry changed his life up. I just met, a football coach that was able to retire from this. I just wanted to share that with you. You just got to find ways to keep plugging them in. You can ask my brother, same way. I never harassed them every week. No, I just kind of dripped on them and dripped on them and dripped on them and dripped on them until the timing was right. Was it a lot longer than what I expected? Probably so. I thought he was going to join me just because I was his brother. But it didn't happen that way. But guess what? If I would have quit, he never would have joined at all. So you got to be willing to see it through, even with the no's. Okay, he told me no. No doesn't mean no forever. Just no, not right now. Timing isn't right. So guess what? You just keep dripping, keep plugging them in where you can. You don't have to flood them every single day. You can ask them. I didn't flood them every single day. I would go like a week or two, and then I'll catch back up with them, and then I'll invite them to another Zoom. And then, ask him, was he ready? He wasn't ready again. Okay, well, and drip and drip and drip and drip. Oh, next thing you know, he joins. He or she will join you. You just got to learn to drip on them, keeping them plugged in, keeping them engaged, because life happens to everybody. Flat tires are going to happen. People are going to pass away. They're going to lose their jobs. Pay cuts are going to happen. The kids are going to have an accident, something. Life is going to happen, you guys. So, of course, they may have been ready to join, but then the engine in the car messed up. They couldn't use the money. Yeah, they could have joined, and then the kids had an unexpected baseball trip they had to take. They had to pay for that instead. See, but if you just, oh, well, okay, when then you take the piece of paper and you just throw it and just say, forget it, I'll get back to them later just because they didn't join you right then, you may have lost out on one of your aces. Or your jack that was going to lead you to your ace. Or your 2 that was going to lead you to your ace. See, because the aces might come from you, but most of the time they don't come from you. They come from people that know somebody. And so that's what I really can say about that. You got to learn to find a consistent follow-up.
Yep.
And
follow-up is probably the most important step in the entire thing, because follow-up guys, here's the thing. Quit trying to enroll every person. Don't go out there with the mindset that every person you're going to enroll as a rep. Some people just want to be a customer, and that's okay. Some people want to be a rep, a wholesale rep, and buy products and save some money, and that's okay. See, your business, you have to look at a bigger scale of what your business is. It's a hybrid. It's a blend of all those things. Because to the point Ant said, some will quit. I used to say about 30%, 20 to 30% every year are going to, something gets in the way, steals their dream. I don't know which 20% it's going to be. It isn't going to be me. And what happens is that 20% means, guess what? As a leader, I know that's going to happen. So I have to be prepared to replace it. And so it's important that we understand that this isn't a one-time thing. This is a business. Ant said it earlier, but he didn't spell it out quite like I'm going to. You can't have $1 million dream on minimum wage effort. If you want $1 million dream, if you want $1 million business, your actions and effort have to be like $1 million worth. We all know people. We've all been people. Well, I'll wait and see. That wait and see, I've got to see it to believe it. Well, if you got to see it to believe it, then you shouldn't be breathing. Because you can't see air, but you're believing the next breath. You're believing the next breath is there. So the question is, how much you believe in yourself? Are you going to be the horse to bet on? You want to be the horse in the race. Maybe it's okay if you just want to make $200, $300, $500 a month, and that's perfectly fine. I'll take 100 of those in my business anytime. I'll take one at a time 100 times. Because I know that if they stick around long enough, there will be an ace that will pop up underneath them. Always happens. So as we wrap up here, we've talked about orientating, we've talked about social media, we've talked about personal development, we've talked about running the play. The one thing we still have, is there one thing that we've left out? And that is the power of the dream. The power of the dream is what's going to give you motivation and going to give you the perceptions and mindset to aspire to accomplish what you want to accomplish. See, I can't motivate you. I can't motivate Anthony. And it's not because we're not important. I mean, if you think you're important, go try to tell your neighbor's dog what to do. He don't listen. Nobody else does either. So what happens is the only person that's going to motivate or inspire you is you and your dream. So take the responsibility off of trying to get your team players to play. Find players who want to play. Find players that want to run the game plan. And sometimes spectators come out of the seats and get on the playing field. And then they want to get in the race. And that's okay. We've all been there. We've all seen it. So hopefully tonight we've given you a little bit of value for business orientation. We've framed it where it's a mindset. We framed it where it's your perspective. It's your picture frame and how you identify it right today. But would you put the Mona Lisa in your frame set? The frame that you've got in your head, would you put a Mona Lisa in it? Or the frame that the Mona Lisa's in, you'd look at it and go, wow, didn't know they made them that way. See, it's kind of like comparing. You got to be cautious of who you compare yourself and what you compare to. If Ant had compared himself to the 4 guys that ran the Olympics in a 4x100, and he compared them that if he couldn't outrun him, he shouldn't even lace up his shoes. That would have been unfair. Because Anthony was running his race. His race wasn't the Olympics, but he was darn sure going to run it as hard as they did. He was going to train as hard as they did. He was going to do everything within his power to perform at 100%. That's all any of us can ask. At the end of the day, ask yourself, did I create some volume? Did I talk to somebody? Did I increase my list of names? In other words, what did I do for me and my business? And the next thing is tomorrow is a new day. That day you can impact. So it's one of those things, guys. Get your dream big. Do a game plan for the next 30 days with your coach. Figure out your strategy. Figure out your strategy and then put the action behind it to play. And call us if you ever need it. My phone number is area code 303-929-4175. 303-929-4175. You can call me anytime. Text me. If it's at 10 o'clock, I won't answer.
And my phone number is 972-679-4290. And y'all feel free to call me anytime. If I don't answer, most of the time it's just because I am on the other line most of the time. Or on the Zoom. If I'm on the Zoom, I'll probably text you. If I'm on the Zoom. But yeah, always feel free to call me. Also, this is something I believe we should all do. We should all sign up for this challenge for 7 days. It's something that I was challenged to do, and I promise you it's helped me out a lot. And I've only been doing it now for about 10 days. But every single night, I just want you to try it out for 7 days. You don't even have to try it out for longer than that if you don't want to. But every single night, grab yourself a piece of paper or a notebook or a notepad. I say notepad and a piece of pen. And before you close your eyes, I want you to write down everything you did for your business. Not thinking about your business, because thinking about your business is not working your business. For instance, if we owned a McDonald's or a Starbucks or something like that, if we didn't go and unlock the door and make the coffee and get it going and do inventory, take inventory in, whatever. But in this case, okay, at the end of the night, before you go to bed, write down how many people you added to your list? How many new people? Did you add 2 people? It's all right. If you did 0, then just write 0. If you didn't do nothing for you, you got to be honest with yourself. Nobody's looking at this book but you. But how many calls did you make? How many Zooms did you attend? How many recordings of Zooms did you watch? Try it out. Just try it out for 7 days. If you like it, it works, it helps you out, do it for another 7 days. But I promise you this, doing that alone will definitely help you out because it's like it was taught to me, it was a subconscious thing. It was a subconscious thing. The day I wrote that I barely did anything, I think I only did like one, no exaggeration, you guys. I probably attended 1 Zoom, probably only reached out to about 3 people. This is recently too, because I only did this for 10 days now. And I only reached out to like 2 people. And the very next day, I blew it out the water because I said, no, I need to do some work on my business. Because like Mr. Dave said, you can't have $1 million dream with a minimum wage work at this point, period. Because doing what you're doing got you to where you are right now in your life. So if doing what you're doing is going to get you to where you want to get to, you had already been there. See, that was the thing. You got to learn to change some things up. You got to be willing to grab the TV button and cut it off. You got to be willing to cut the radio off and listen to something positive to make those calls instead of doing that. So you got to be willing to do the things that most people aren't willing to do.
Bingo. Well, folks, we went over a little bit here, but I really believe that it's time well spent. This will be recorded and placed out in YouTube, both on Anthony's site and my site, where you can play it for your people if you choose to, new people, that kind of thing. So use this as a tool. In other words, again, use the shopping cart method of grocery store. Don't do everything we said tonight over the next 2 days. Just take what you can grab it and make a change. Then listen to it again and make a change. It's the continuous process of change is going to get you what you want. So with that, thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. And thanks for co-hosting.